This episode of That's Not Quite All, Folks is brought to you by Post Grape Nuts, now with 50% more nuts.
Well, stupid, are you ready?
Okay, Smokey, roll 'em. That's silly. Shoot him now! Shoot him now!
I gotcha.
Hello, consumers, and welcome to another episode of That's Not Quite All, Folks, a Looney Tunes podcast. I'm your copywriter in training, Mark Hanlon, joined by...
And I'm your took one copywriting class and for some reason couldn't get the hang of it, Jordan Schmitz. And I know that you say this, a lot of people say this line kind of cliche-like, but this is the most wonderful time of the year for us because we get to cover Looney Tunes commercials again. We do this every December. It's the third time we're doing this, and we're very excited.
Oh, yes, we got... You know, it was so funny because, like, we're putting this together, and even I had to go, like, we haven't covered that one? We
Yes.
haven't covered this one? It's like, oh my
Yes.
god. So, 3 episodes in, there's still stuff to cover. And
Oh
I
my
think there's
God.
more to cover after this. Because even after I was on my notes, I was like, oh, this is an interesting one. Oh, this is an interesting one.
Yeah, no, I worry every year that I'm going to only get YouTube searches and Google searches of just ones that we've done. And that hasn't happened yet because I still keep finding new and good ones. Like, once we run out of Tang ones, then we're going to be fucked.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
And I don't think we're going to be running out of Tang ones anytime soon.
Oh, fantastic. So, yes, we're covering Looney Tunes commercials again, folks. So, with the order, we each brought in a good, I think we each brought there's 18 commercials this year?
Yeah, we each brought like 8 or 9, and I just picked a bunch out willy-nilly. I wasn't really doing a theme. I just picked some of the ones that I knew worked. I wanted to get a good array because I know that we like doing the occasional 60s one, but I also know that we like more, current, 90s ones, different aesthetics. And so I got a nice little sampling. The one thing is I didn't check to see whether or not these were good. So if a lot of them are kind of ho-hum, then that's why.
Yeah, on the ones I chose were a combination of ones that we should be covering by now. Also, just ones I found on social media, because right around the time we were putting these together, that's when all of a sudden the Twitter algorithm was like, hey, you want to see some Looney Tunes commercials? I'm like, yes, exactly. I would love to see some Looney Tunes commercials. Here you go. Well, thank you. You're a horrible social media service, but you're good for Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I mean, we're still doing fine on there. So, so we got a nice mix this time around. You'll see some old familiar brands. You'll see some new and fun brands. We were even going as recent as just 5 weeks ago.
Yes.
So that'll be fun. So why don't we get into this with one of my favorite Looney Tunes characters and one of my least favorite people on the face of the earth. This Pepsi ad from the 90s. So this is from circa 1996. This is from their campaign. Where what else but Pepsi? Or it's like they're trying to make sure that they're trying to market Pepsi as one of a kind, something that nobody can rip off Pepsi. Of course, that's not true. Pepsi is a rip off of Coke, but they're trying to make sure that people know that they are the superior option and that they are one of a kind. So this one gets so much right about Wile E. Coyote cartoons, because this is very much a Wile E. Coyote in a live action desert, riling off contraptions, and just the timing of this, the pacing of this. And I love that it takes place in a real life desert, and it's like a precursor to something they do in Back in Action.
This has like 3 gags in it, like 3 Wile E. Coyote gags in under a minute, which is good. Very impressive.
They're good gags. Like there's a nice little exploding. So there's one where it's like a rocket that just slams him into a wall, and there's just great timing on that. Like a bomb goes off like with just an extra second. Like they have the time to do the full thing, and they go for it. And the first 20, 25 or so seconds of this are, they're really good Looney Tunes stuff. And then we realize that this isn't a Roadrunner that Wile E. Coyote is chasing, or rather, the Roadrunner isn't who shows up, but Deion Sanders.
Oh, now that name rings a bell.
Okay, what do you know about Deion Sanders? Because then I have the real dirt.
Not good things, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I mean, do you know like any?
No. That's all I know. Is I remember I heard his name recently, and it was like not good. Yeah. I don't know what he did, but it wasn't good. I'm sure the second you tell me, I'll be like, oh, that's right. He did.
Okay.
He slept with a hooker.
No, I not to my knowledge. But right now he's coaching college football, and he has this sort of larger than life kind of attitude to him, and it clashes a lot with a lot of the traditions down there. But Deion Sanders in the 90s was a very big deal because he was a 2-sport phenomenon in the early 90s, which means at the same time he was a player in the NFL for the Falcons, and he was a player in the MLB for the Yankees and Braves and people. So he was playing baseball and football at the same time. And
how is that possible?
Well, I mean, it's the kind of thing where if you're an all like an athlete like Deion, that means you do the regular MLB season from March until around September, October, and then when it starts interfering with the NFL season starting in September, right, you got to like sort of phase that out. And so like I don't know how much he was being used during the postseason when he was at the Braves and such, but he was always free in January. I mean, the season MLB season was over by then. But yeah, no, he for the 90s was a big star in both and was very full of himself.
Oh my God! I mean, overexposure as hell, if I had to guess.
Absolutely, he hosted one of the worst SNLs of all time,
and he hosted an SNL.
It was terrible.
Where did he find the time?
Yeah, his whole thing in this time period was that he did everything. That Deion did, baseball really well. He did football really well. He won a World Series. He won a Super Bowl. He was doing all this. And the thing is that it's very funny that he is in this Pepsi ad, and Pepsi is proclaiming themselves one of a kind. And if it's nothing else, it's Pepsi or whatever, because Deion Sanders isn't even the best 2-sport superstar of the 90s. You ever heard of a guy named Bo Jackson?
Yes, I do.
Bo Jackson was a huge deal for the Oakland Raiders and the Los Angeles Raiders in the 1980s, and around the same time, he was a huge deal for the Kansas City Royals. He was an amazing outfielder because he had a great arm, and he was an amazing NFL player because he was speedy and could just run into anybody. He was great in both sports. From 1987 until 1991, he was one of the best players in both sports. Then in 1990-1991, he has a serious freak injury in the NFL that not only ends his NFL playing career, but drastically ruptures his appeal in the MLB, because if he can't run as fast, then he's just got an arm and a bat, and that's not as much. So he's one of those great what could have been. So, but also the difference is that,
did Bo Jackson appear in a Coca-Cola commercial?
Probably. There was some ad. I think Nike was Bo Knows Baseball, Bo Knows Football, one of those. But he was a really big deal back then. Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't shock me if he wasn't a Coca-Cola, given this comparison. But Bo, I think The difference between Bo and Dion is that Bo, I think, was a little bit more humble and a little less full of himself. And, Dion kept going and going and going, to quote another ad that we're going to cover in this. And, pissed more and more people off. And fun fact, Deion Sanders was rude to my dad once.
Oh, here we go.
And for confidentiality purposes, I'm not going to say exactly how Deion Sanders was rude to my dad, but Deion Sanders was rude to my dad once. And considering how many people in Deion's sort of line of work that my dad has worked with, most of them are really good people. Most of them he has nothing but nice things to say about. There's only one or two people in that field that my dad has basically come away and said, oh, they're a terrible person. I don't want to work with them again. It's really just him and Lawrence Taylor. But, Deion, I don't like Deion. And so Deion is sort of the place of the Roadrunner in this, where he runs into the scene and we see that it's Deion Sanders, and even Wiley is confused. Like, he holds up a sign that says, Deion? And the whole thing is that, like, he wires this he wires this Pepsi machine to one of a kind, eh? He wires this Pepsi machine to, ignite when the Roadrunner takes a soda. And of course, it's the kind of thing where, Deion takes one, no problem. And of course, Wiley gets his autograph and it's very fun. And then Deion runs away. And then Wiley is like, all right, that means the soda machine's broken. And of course, it blows up. And that's at least well timed.
Yeah. Also, Deion doesn't say anything.
Thank God.
No lines for Deion.
He was paid by the word.
What, but just been 2 words.
Yeah, well.
Meep, meep. No. It's $5,000 a word. Ah, fuck, never mind. Just put in the Paul Julia sound effects. Should be fine.
Yes. But, yeah, no, so it ends with him sort of running off and doing the little meep meep thing. And, Pepsi, the soda of a generation. Just not this one. This is just a very 1996 ad, but I love how it depicts the Looney Tunes. I love just the gag mentality in this. I think it really works as just sort of a tribute to the Looney Tunes. I think the Deion stuff does take away from it, but it's a good ad.
Yeah, it's a very solid Wild Coyote. Listen, it's like I know is watching these, because we actually have a good amount of Wild Coyote ads in this episode.
4 or so.
Shit, we had a lot. Wild Coyote just good at this.
Yeah.
He's an actual salesman.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to do because he doesn't have to talk. It's all visual
international
stuff.
It's all. You can show it anywhere and it'll get the message across.
Well, do people in Europe know about Deion Sanders? Probably not. Just replace it with Gary Lineker. That seemed to work the last time.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, no, I give this one, just on a Deion graded curve, I give this one a 3.5 out of 5.
I'm giving this a 4 out of 5.
And you're allowed, because you don't have the experience with Deion that I do.
I don't got that baggage, no.
Yeah. Oh, man. And so, we go from that Wile E. Coyote ad to a different one that I don't think understood the character as well.
Beep, beep.
With its unique wide-track design, the wide-track Grand Prix Sports Sedan provides better cornering and control when you're out for a bite. The wide-track Grand Prix by Pontiac. Wider is better.
So this is for Pontiac, who in 1998 were releasing a new Pontiac wide-track car, and the gimmick of this was that it was wider. I don't really see the appeal. I mean, do you want a car that can really piss off the people in the next lanes on the highway? Then get the wide track. But
see, back in the 90s, the wider the back of your car was, the bigger your dick was. I don't fucking know.
The wider your dick was.
Yes.
I That's not going to be able to fit in the garage, let alone anything else.
No, it's not.
No, but yeah, that's the thing. This ad does a couple things I didn't realize, because it's a regular Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner chase that's kind of doing its own thing, and then Wiley gets the bright idea to order from Acme the Pontiac Wide Track, and it's a live-action car in an animated background, which, putting a live-action Deion Sanders or a live-action product in there, that works better than putting a car in a fully 2D animated thing. And also a goofy-looking car like the Pontiac Wide Track.
I think that's why it kind of worked for me. Like, because the car already looks goofy as hell, it's like, yeah, okay, sure. The merging of 2D and live action kind of worked for me. One issue with it is that, since when does Acme actually help Wile E. Coyote?
Well, that's the problem I had with this.
Right, because, like, listen, if this was a regular Wile E. Coyote cartoon, it would have been, oh, and then the car explodes, but you can't do that because you're selling the damn car.
Yeah. And so your hands are kind of tied. And so as cool as Wiley looks driving the car, I don't think the Pontiac realizes that Wiley doesn't have good judgment. So unintentionally, it comes off like Wiley wants to catch the Roadrunner, but all he's got is a Pontiac Wide Track.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, okay, I said to Acme, get me a really fast car. All right, here is the Pontiac Wide Track. And in a Wile E. Coyote cartoon, it would be like, oh no, the cup holders don't fit and explode, So, I mean, we iris out before Wiley gets his comeuppance. We literally just on his head is like, and now less about you. Forget you. Let's talk about the car. Hi, I'm Troy No. You may remember the Pontiac not the Pontiac Aztec. That's a different car. You may remember the Pontiac Wide Track from, well, nothing. I don't think Pontiac even exists anymore. Jesus.
I remember the name. I think it existed after this, but I don't think it exists anymore. I'll just look it up, because why not?
Around this time, the big car that you could win on all the TV shows, on all the CBS TV shows, was the Pontiac Aztec.
Yeah, so I know that. Yeah, it closed down. My God, these cars look ugly.
Yeah, that's why.
They really don't. I'm just like, they look. I mean, it's like they nailed it in the 50s. Where it's like, oh, the classic look, the big, and that worked. And they just kept doing that into like the 70s and the 80s. It's like,
and only Chevy can really pull that off, or Chrysler.
Yeah, let's see. It went defunct in 2010.
Oh, that's later than I would have thought. Okay. I didn't love this one because, I don't think it was a perfect mix with Wile E. Coyote. And I think that the car, it didn't really sell me the car. The car looks kind of silly and ridiculous. And if you're trying to build that and be like, okay, buy this car because it's silly and ridiculous, then I don't think you're really marketing it the right way.
Here's what I noticed in this commercial. Do you notice that when they cut to the back shot of the car, they put an effect and like stretch out the back?
Yes.
To further enunciate that it has a wider, it's wider. It's like, guys, like, if you need to do an effect to demonstrate to the consumer, no, really, trust us. It's like, well, why should I? You're clearly using an effect here.
They keep doing the whole, like, we're going to stretch out the car and it's wide. And like, they do it at the end too. And it's like, okay. What point are you trying to make?
Make wide turns. Ooh.
Yeah, you know what? I hate those thin cars that get through lanes all right.
I mean, to be fair, I do have my limits when it comes to those type of cars as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't fucking fit in a smart car. Like,
I fucking hate Kia Souls. I don't like them. A car shouldn't be that square. That's my hot take of the episode. We're 20 minutes in. That's my hot take of the episode.
Hot take. Kia Soul, go fuck yourself.
Yes.
Pontiac Wide Track can also go fuck itself, even though I don't think there are any that are still around. Because they all probably broke on the highway due to people running into them in accidents because they were too wide.
Too fucking wide. So whatever I ain't giving this.
3 out of 5.
I'm also giving this a 3 out of 5 anvils.